So welcome back to Vintage Steel Garage. Today we're carrying on with the, as ever, Porsche 911. Today we're continuing on the 911-996 and we're replacing the front coolant pipe, which we looked at last time, which was looking rather poorly at the top. Basically it was all corroded round here. I did a temporary repair with some, what do you call it, epoxy putty. Anyway, I decided with the expansion and contraction of the aluminium that's not a good idea, so I ordered this off eBay. Can't remember the seller, but I will put it in the description as a breakers. It was absolutely fantastic. I rang him I rang him 1:30 one day and it arrived within 24 hours, or just under 24 hours. And that was £65 delivered to the door. Obviously it's a brand new second-hand one, and this is off a Porsche 996 Turbo, same year as mine, but it had only done 39,000 miles. So I don't know what caused the demise of this car. Obviously probably someone going a bit too fast, but you can see even inside the coolant pipe it's a lot cleaner than mine, a lot cleaner. I'll show you inside my pipes later. Anyway, this is a lot better, no corrosion there, just needs a bit of a clean up. Get a bit of wire wool on that, wire wool on this, get it nice and clean, and we can get that in place. There we go, that's the prop to the front. Apparently it's meant to be an improved one, which just tells me the first one was rubbish. So right, there we go. So what's we got? We got 6 bolts to undo and that. There's going to be 3 on the prop side and 3 on the gearbox side. And you'll see when I take mine off, it's all split around here. So it was handy to do while we were taking the coolant pipe off. So let's go underneath. So here you can see the coupling here. You can see the splits in it that are going there. They're worse on the other side. Oh, there's quite a bad one. Look at that one there. That's quite bad, and they're quite bad round there, so I'll take it off. Basically there's 6 bolts to undo. So I've got all the bolts undone now. Someone's been in here before, probably where they did the clutch, and put an alignment mark here with a rubber bush, which is a bit strange really, because they've just aligned the rubber bush to the torque, whereas what I've done, I've put a mark around the other side. You can't see it at the moment, but I've basically aligned the output shaft and this shaft up, so I'll get this orientation right, and hopefully that will keep the balance. So if you view the other side, there's the marker put on to align the prop and the output shaft. You can see again the misalignment in the rubber here, and also the splits. I mean, basically look at that bit there. That bit is moving. I'm so lucky I found this. To be honest, I wasn't even looking for it. This basically showed itself when I took the rear carrier off here, which mounts onto the gearbox here and goes down. Basically I removed that steel frame that's sat there against the tyre. So there we go, it's off the prop, and there's the rubber donut out. So let's have a look on the bench and see how that compares with the new one. So here's the old one and here's the new one. The new one's meant to be an improved one, but I can't quite tell what the difference is really, other than it not having any splits. Maybe that's the improvement. But if you have a look on this one here, so this is the old one. If you take a look, you can see it's pretty split all the way around and on both sides. So in some parts, basically there, the crack has nearly joined up. So this was not doing its job, and it was a chance find, so I'm pretty glad I found that. The coolant leak sort of led me to that, taking the pipes out. So I'm going to put a new one back in there, and that should get that done. So we've got the prop donut on now, so we can cross that out. And we're now going to move on to the coolant leak, which we've got this new second-hand pipe here off a low mileage car to go on. So this is off the turbo model, which is basically the same 996. It's the same wide-bodied car, just with a turbo engine, different engine, but it's got the same suspension, same brakes, same four-wheel drive, same everything. So I'm going to get this underneath in position. I'm not going to film it getting in position, because to be honest that'll just be me getting really angry and swearing, trying to hook it in one end over the front drive shaft and then lift it in at the back over the prop. So once I've got it in place, get the clips on, I'll show you what we're doing now. So we're back up and running. We've got coolant in the header tank there. The issue we have now is that obviously with the engine cold, the thermostat won't open, and therefore the pipes going to the front, which are currently empty, and the radiator that's empty will not take coolant. The coolant is just circulating around the engine. As soon as the engine gets warm, the thermostat's going to open, try to pump liquid coolant round to the radiators and back, and that header tank is just going to drop like a stone. So I'm ready with the old coolant to pour back in. I'm going to filter it through a cloth. It is clean, it is nice and clean, and you may wonder why I'm using the coolant. One, it's clean, so why waste it? Because it's environmentally a waste putting it down the drain. And two, if I get all that in, I know I'm back where I was and I haven't got an airlock. If I can't get all that fluid back in, I know I've got an airlock and I need to work on it. So I just need to be mindful of that level dropping when it gets warm. We can have a quick look underneath now. Just make sure there's no leaks. So we changed the oil filter, there's no leaks there. No nasty rattles from the engine. Look at that lovely yellow suspension. The hose we replaced is there. It's going down this side. You can't see it too well, but I'm basically looking for any coolant leaks on the floor or from the flanges. This was like one of the flanges here, and so far it's looking okay. So I'm just going to make sure I stay at the top end for when that suddenly drops and I need to refill. What you also want to do is pop this up here. This is just the bleed here. This will get all the air out of it, and it's probably worth leaving it up for the first 50 miles like that, so it will vent any air bubbles out, because that's the highest point on the system. Temperature's at 60 degrees C, so this thermostat must be on the verge of opening. Here we go. So there we go, it's ready to go down now. Let me just show you this. Let me just show you this pipe, the thing that started the whole thing off. So you can see that there is where the whole thing started leaking from this pipe fitting, and it needed this whole pipe that runs all the way down to the very back of the car replacing. So no more coolant leak. Hopefully going to go on a test run now. What I actually did with the coolant is, even if you don't reuse the coolant, I recommend you measure it out into a jug so you know exactly how many litres. Obviously you lost a bit on the floor, so you can add a bit on. You know, a rough idea how much you need to put back in. I probably had about 5 litres I needed to put back in. And the way I found to do it really was burping the system, basically just above the radiator cap. There's a little clip that you can lift up, like a little D-ring. Just hold that up, let it burp itself, rev, keep the radiator cap on or else it'll just overheat and come out. Rev for a few minutes, hold it about 2,000, 3,000 RPM, back off, keep doing that. And then I actually, underneath this arch down here at the front, I noticed one of the hoses was hot, one of the hoses was cold, so it was airlocked in the radiator. So I just basically unloosened the clip, put a screwdriver just down the side of the hose, just opened it up a little bit and heard a load of air come out. And then a few minutes later that lower hose was warm and I could feel the pipe that we've replaced all the way to the back get warm. And then next minute there was a massive rush of water going down in the header tank. Stopped, crack it off carefully. If you open it too quick it'll just boil over. Let the pressure out and then just topped it back up, and I kept doing that, and I've got about 6 litres of water back in, coolant back in. So obviously we probably lost a coolant on the floor, didn't catch it all. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to go for a test run now, hopefully 4-wheel alignment tomorrow. So I've been on a test run, all looking good. Just topped the coolant up to just above minimum. it'd probably took about another half a litre. And this is a bleed valve I'm on about. You just leave this up for maybe a few, first 50, 100 miles, something like that. You can just leave that up completely and it will bleed itself, and then put it down. I've had good success doing it that way. So it's all looking good. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and there'll be more